There is something fundamentally broken about the logic of Rocket League, and yet here we are, more than a decade later, still obsessing over it. You take a bunch of rocket-powered cars, throw them into a giant cage, and tell them to play soccer. It sounds like a fever dream that a toddler had after eating too much candy, right? But the magic is that it works. It works so well that it makes every other sports game on the market look like a boring spreadsheet simulator. You are looking at a game that refuses to die because it tapped into something primal, something about the purity of competition that most developers forgot about years ago. When you first boot up the game, you're probably expecting something arcadey and simple. You think you'll just drive around, hit the ball, and score a few goals. You are wrong. The second you step onto the pitch, you realize that the physics engine is actually a sadistic teacher that is going to humble you within the first 5 seconds. That ball isn't just a prop. It has weight. It has momentum. It bounces in ways that will make you want to throw your controller across the room. But that is exactly why you stay. Because when you finally connect with that ball, when you hit it exactly where you intended, with the force you intended, it feels better than any scripted cutscene or pre-rendered animation ever could. The controls are the real star here. They are tighter than anything you have ever played. Everything you do on the field is a direct reflection of your own input. If you miss the ball, it's because you were too slow, or you turned the wrong way, or you simply didn't read the bounce. There is no aim assist to save you. There is no press X to score button. You are flying through the air, adjusting your car's rotation in 3D space, trying to judge the flight of the ball while your heart is pounding in your throat. It is an intense, high-stakes dance that happens in 5-minute chunks. And the best part? It never changes. The core mechanics haven't been messed with because they didn't need to be. It is the same game today as it was years ago, and that consistency is a rare superpower in an industry that loves to complicate things for no reason. Think about the way modern games treat progression. They love to dangle carrots in front of you, new gear, new levels, arbitrary unlockables that don't actually change your skill level. Rocket League doesn't care about your rank icon or your fancy car skin. It cares about your hands. It cares about your muscle memory. You can spend 100 hours playing and you won't get any stronger. Your car won't get faster. Your rocket boost won't get longer. The only thing that changes is the person holding the controller. When you finally hit that first aerial or when you save a goal that looked impossible, that high doesn't come from a pop-up on the screen telling you that you leveled up. It comes from the realization that you just got objectively better at the game. That feeling is intoxicating. But then you run into the wall. Every player hits it. You spend weeks feeling like a god, climbing the ranks, thinking you've figured it all out, and then you face someone who makes you look like you are playing with your feet. The ceiling in this game is so high that it feels infinite. You see players doing flip resets, ceiling shots, and double taps, and you start to wonder if they are even playing the same game as you. It is demoralizing, sure, but it is also a challenge that you can't walk away from. You start going into training packs. You start spending hours just driving around the field trying to perfect your drift or your ball control. You become a student of the game, and that is where the obsession really takes root. Let's talk about the world design for a second. Or, well, the lack thereof. You have a stadium. You have a ball. You have cars. That is it. It sounds limiting, but it's actually genius. By stripping away everything unnecessary, the developers made sure that nothing distracts you from the action. The colors are vibrant, the lighting is crisp, and the readability is perfect. In a world of 2026 games that are obsessed with ray tracing, hyper-realistic textures, and loading assets that take up half your hard drive, Rocket League remains this clean, readable, beautiful mess. You never lose track of the ball. You never get confused by background clutter. It is focused. It is direct. It is exactly what a competitive game needs to be. The sound design is another piece of the puzzle that people usually ignore until they start playing at a high level. You start to hear things. You hear the engine whine of the guy coming up behind you to demo you. You hear the distinct thud of the ball hitting the post. You hear the boost pod spawn sound just before you see it. It creates this sensory feedback loop where you aren't just looking at the screen, you are listening to the environment.
It is subtle, but it adds another layer to the immersion that most people don't even realize they are reacting to. Now, we have to talk about the community and the state of the game in 2026. Yes, there is toxicity. You are going to run into people who spam "what a save" after you make a mistake. You are going to have teammates who rage quit after one goal. It is part of the experience. You have to learn to tune it out. If you let the chat get to you, you are going to lose, not just the match, but your sanity. The game is best enjoyed with a friend, laughing at the chaos, or alone, treating it like a Zen garden where you are just trying to master your own movements. It is not a game you play to relax. It is a game you play to focus. It is active meditation.
When you look at how it compares to the landscape of 2026, it is interesting. Most shooters are trying to be hero games with abilities and cooldowns. Most RPGs are trying to be sprawling, endless epics. Rocket League stands there in the corner, arms crossed, saying, "I don't need any of that." It hasn't tried to jump on the Battle Royale trend. It hasn't tried to force a narrative campaign onto players who just want to play soccer. It stayed in its lane, and by doing that, it became timeless. It doesn't look dated because it was never trying to look like the real world. It has its own visual identity, and it owns it. What about the negatives? Because there have to be some, right? Well, the new player experience is arguably the worst part of the game today. Because the game has been out for so long, the average skill level of the player base is sky high. If you are starting in 2026, you are going to get destroyed. It is not a friendly game to beginners. You will feel like you are walking into a professional tournament just to play in a casual lobby. The matchmaking does its best, but when the community is filled with people who have put thousands of hours into the game, there is only so much the algorithms can do. If you can push past that initial wall, you will find one of the most rewarding experiences in gaming, but you have to be ready for some serious frustration early on. There is also the matter of content. If you are the type of person who needs a story, a quest log, or a massive map to explore, you are going to get bored here, fast. This is not a game that gives you something new to do every day. It gives you the same pitch, the same ball, and the same mechanics. It relies entirely on your internal drive to get better. If that drive isn't there, there is nothing for you here. This is a sport, not a narrative adventure. It is a place you go to practice, to compete, and to hone your craft. If you view it as a video game that needs to entertain you with new toys, you will be disappointed. But if you view it as a competitive hobby, it is the best thing you can possibly download. One thing that has always fascinated me is the emotional impact. Why does a single goal feel so good? Why does a loss feel so personal? It's because the game is so honest. There's no luck. There's no random number generator determining if your shot goes in or if you make the save. It is all you. When you lose, you know exactly why. You were outplayed. You were too slow. You missed the rotation. That honesty is brutal, but it is also liberating. You never have to blame the game. You only have to blame yourself, which means you have the power to fix it. That is a kind of agency you don't get in most other games. The longevity of Rocket League is a testament to the idea that gameplay is king. We live in an era where games are marketed based on the size of their maps, the number of hours of content, or the graphical fidelity of their water effects. Rocket League ignored all of that. It focused on the feel of the car. It focused on the physics of the ball. It focused on the intensity of the competition. It proved that if you nail the core loop, you don't need all the extra fluff. You can play this game for 5 minutes or 5 hours, and you walk away feeling like you accomplished something. So, how do I rate this in 2026? It's complicated. If you are looking for a casual experience, maybe a 3 out of 5. It is going to be too hard and too repetitive for you. But if you are a competitor, if you are the kind of person who likes to sink into a game and master it, if you want something that respects your time and your intelligence by not holding your hand, it is a solid 5 out of 5. It is a masterpiece of design. It is a perfect distillation of what gaming is supposed to be. It is pure, unfiltered, competitive fun. You are going to have those nights where you win every game, where your rotations are perfect, where your aerials are landing and you feel like you could take on anyone in the world. You are going to have other nights where you can't hit the ball to save your life, where every bounce goes against you and you wonder why you even bother. But you will come back. You will always come back because that itch to hit that perfect shot is never going to go away. And honestly, that is the sign of a game that is doing everything right. It is rare to find a game that stays with you for this long, that survives the trends, the hype cycles, and the massive releases that come and go. Rocket League is a survivor. It is a staple. It's one of those rare titles that you keep installed on your hard drive just in case you have 20 minutes to kill and want to feel that rush of adrenaline one more time. If you have never played it, give it a shot. Just remember to be patient with yourself. Don't worry about the guys flying through the air doing triple flips. Just worry about hitting the ball. Just worry about being better than you were in the last match. That is the only progress that matters. And if you've been playing for years, well, you already know. You know that no matter what new games come out, no matter how good the graphics get, there is always going to be that one cage, that one ball, and that one perfect feeling of a goal hitting the back of the net. If this resonated with you, if you've spent your fair share of time chasing that ball, let me know in the comments what your most memorable play was. I want to hear about that one save or that one goal that you still think about when you're trying to fall asleep. If you enjoyed this look back, maybe throw a like on the video and consider subscribing so we can keep talking about these games that actually stand the test of time. Share this with your regular teammate, the one you always blame for that lost rank. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you on the field.